What is up, everybody, and welcome back to the Underdog Podcast, episode 18. It has been a while. It's been about 3-4 weeks. I just took a break because I really needed to. I had a lot of stuff going on and just needed to take care of that. But we're back. And excited to get started again. So I'm here with Week 11 power rankings. A lot of stuff has happened. A lot of stuff has changed. So I'm going with the movements based on the last time. This is not how I thought of them in Week 10. This is like back from going into Week 7. So this is a while. But the bottom has not changed. Still, number 32 is Houston Texans. They just lack talent, man. Tyrod coming back, though, I think brings him a boost and a new dimension to the offense with his running ability. But, yeah, man, Houston might finish the season 1-16. We'll see. Number 31 is the Detroit Lions. They didn't lose this week. They did not lose. They tied in an absolute monsoon. Jared Goff could not really throw the ball against Steelers, but their run game was very good. DeAndre Swift was great. Godwin Igwebuike was great. I think Dan Campbell called the plays, and he was like, "We're gonna pound the rock," and that's what they did. And they were in position to win. It's just Santoso missed that field goal, and that was tough. That Santoso missed that field goal for them. Because I think if they have Zane Gonzalez, they probably make that and they win the game. So that's tough, man. Number 30, falling a spot, is the New York Jets. The Jets are they're in an interesting spot because they're not playing well, but they don't really seem to care. And there was talks about, if Mike White plays well again, it would have been this week against Buffalo, he might have, an opportunity for another start and have Zach Wilson sit and learn. And I'm like, are they really going to try and make Mike White their franchise quarterback? Like, I don't know about that, man. I mean, this is why you got to be patient. I mean, take a look at some of the guys that took a while to develop. I think Jameis is a good example of that one this season. Tannehill, he's another great example. Like, some of these guys need time, man. And a lot of it is their situation, and Zach Wilson doesn't have a great one in the Jets. They don't have a great offensive line. Mekhi Becton's been out since week 2 or 3, I want to say. And his weapons are okay. He doesn't really have a run game. His defense is good, but his secondary is awful. So, you just got to give it time, Jets fans. But their ownership's also a big problem. So that's a story for another day, though. 29, falling 2 spots, is the Jacksonville Jaguars. They did pick up a big win last week against the Bills. Even without scoring a touchdown, it's kind of a grit and grind win. Good momentum for the team, and they come in this week, and they just couldn't get it done against the Colts. They had an opportunity, and Lawrence fumbled, and he showed some emotion on the sideline. I think he's starting to realize that he can win this team games if he takes care of the football. I think that's a big thing for this team. If they take care of the football, I think they can win some games down the stretch. I don't know how many, but they've at least shown the last couple of weeks they've been more competitive. Number 28, falling 2 spots, is the Washington football team. I really do hate to put them here, but it's just their defense has just been awful this season, and Chase Young goes down, and Montez Sweat the week before. It's been really tough for this team to kind of refine that kind of energy on defense, and their offense is really not great. I mean, Heineke this week was really good. I think it's kind of another thing with this team. If they take care of the football, they have a chance to win games, because when Heineke's on, he's looked like a solid quarterback. It's just he's not really starting. I don't think he's starting caliber in this league currently. Number 27, moving up 1 spot, is the Miami Dolphins. Huge win for them on Thursday night. I think their defense finally clicked. They were sending cover 0 all night at Lamar Jackson. He couldn't figure it out. I think Xavier Howard's finally playing well. Same with Byron Jones. Javon Holland looks great. Their second-round pick from Oregon. And kudos to Tua. I mean, he was dealing with the middle finger injury, kind of comes out, replaces Jacoby Brissett. I don't really know why he didn't start the game. I think they wanted him to just nurse the injury. Same for later, but he comes off the bench and really played one of his best games of his career. I thought he was really poised. I thought he made really good decisions and really kind of, and shout out to the play calling when they had Albert Wilson in motion up the seam and no one covered him. He was wide open. I really felt like that was a big game for Tua's confidence. And they have the Jets this week, another winnable game. So maybe you see, I don't think Miami's going to make a late season run or anything, but, see them like build some confidence. Number 26, falling 3 spots to the Atlanta Falcons. This defense is just not good, and they got obliterated this week at Dallas after a good win against the Saints. And they lose maybe their best player or the most productive player on offense right now in Cordarrelle Patterson to a sprained ankle. I don't think he's going to play Thursday, and he might be out a couple weeks. I think this team just needs to get certain guys to football more. They need to get Kyle Pitts to football more. I think he's becomes your most dynamic player in offense with Cordarrelle Patterson out. Just get Mike Davis, more touches. Get Hayden Hurst the ball because he's dynamic with the ball in his hands. Get Russell Gage the football. And really just, become more efficient on offense. I think they're trying to become big play oriented, and they're not really kind of that. I feel like they're more of like a, efficient offense. That's kind of like what Matt Ryan likes to do, is run that efficient offense with Arthur Smith. And this defense is just, they're horrible, man. Outside of like Grady Jarrett and AJ Terrell, Deion Jones are really just not great. And I think Foyesade Oluokun got hurt in this game, which is going to be an even bigger blow to that defense. Number 25, moving up 5 spots, is the New York Giants. They had a big win last week against the Raiders, and they were on bye this week. They got a big Monday Night Football game against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, who are coming off a bad loss to the football team. So it'll be interesting to see how this Giants team comes off a bye, and that Brady's going to be pissed coming off that loss. So we'll see if they can, come out with a win. It's going to be tough, because they're going on the road to Tampa, but the Giants have been playing well recently, so we'll see if they can build off that. 24, moving down 7 spots, falling 7 spots, is the Carolina Panthers. Listen, man, Sam Darnold, he was dealing with an injury. I think the injury was more serious than the Panthers thought, honestly, when he was there, especially against New England, and I can't remember the game before that, because he did not look good. And then, they bring in Cam Newton this week. First play, he's in, rushing touchdown. Second play, he's in, passing touchdown. I mean, Cam Newton was just... It just feels better with Cam Newton in the back in the NFL, man, and on the Panthers. I mean, it was a different energy. And, when he took off his helmet and said, screamed, "I'm back," the chip on the shoulder energy, the FU energy was there, and I was for it, man. I was really happy to see him just succeed. Kind of sucks that PJ Walker can't get an opportunity. He did play well against Arizona, but I think Cam does deserve this opportunity as well. I don't know if there's one deserves more than the other, but Cam does deserve this opportunity. I think he's actually in the position to start, so it'll be interesting to see how this offense is kind of tweaked with Cam Newton. But that zone read game with McCaffrey is going to be dirty, when they get that invoked into the offense. 23, moving up a spot, is the Philadelphia Eagles. Jalen Hurts, man, he played really well this past week, and Devontae Smith finally, I think, had his breakout game with 2 touchdowns. I think Nick Sirianni has finally figured out what this team is, and I think with Miles Sanders coming back, it's going to be even more of a focal point. Is we need to run the football, and we need to incorporate the zone read game with Jalen Hurts. And we need to get Jalen Hurts on the move, and we need to make easy reads, man. And they've done that, and they've done a really good job of just kind of tweaking the offense towards more of their strengths. And I give Nick Sirianni credit, man, because he was not doing it at the beginning of the season. He was trying to air raid, throw the ball with Jalen Hurts, and it wasn't working, and they kind of retweaked it, and it's working now. And, Philly, I think they're still a long ways from first place in the NFC East, but they're not far out of that wild card spot. I think they're a game or two back. So Philly, you never know, man. And that defense is starting to play really well too. Darius Slay made a huge game-changing play on Sunday. Denver was driving down to make it a one-score game. It was 4th and 1. Strips Melvin Gordon, gets it up, and returns it for a touchdown. Huge play on Sunday for the Eagles there. Okay, so then at number 22 is the team that they just beat, the Denver Broncos. They've been a roller coaster of a ride, man. Started off 3-0, then lost 3 straight, and it's just kind of been like it the whole season. They had a huge win against Dallas last week, and this week they just kind of came out and just looked a little flat, and that's kind of been the story with them. Is they look really good some weeks and they look really bad some others, and this was one of their really bad weeks. And can I just say, man, why are they not getting the ball to Courtland Sutton? He's their best player on offense. Jerry Jeudy's come back. But, I mean, like, they haven't been getting the ball to him, and I think that's, a correlation. It's like, if you get this man the ball, you're going to have a better chance to win the game. So I think they need to involve him more, although, on the other side, the run game has looked pretty good. Javonte Williams looks really good. So I think they need to kind of, rely more on the run game and Courtland Sutton to be more successful. In this defense, I don't think they're going to be playing elite defense anytime soon without Von Miller, without Bradley Chubb. It's just been real tough on this defense, man. Injuries have been real tough as well. Number 21 is the New Orleans Saints, moving down 9 spots. That is the kind of combination of, them losing the last 2 weeks and Jameis Winston getting hurt. I think that they still have a good team. They still have a good roster. They're just, not really in a position to kind of capitalize on their playoff, run because of the fact that Trevor Siemian's their quarterback, because of the fact that, they don't have, Kamara was out last week. We don't know how long he's going to be out. Michael Thomas is done for the season. Just kind of unfortunate circumstances. But this defense is still playing really well. Played really good against the Titans. And they still, had a chance to win this game. They got a late Marquez Callaway touchdown who I think they need to involve more because when he gets the ball in his hands, he's super dynamic. And then just kind of on the 2-point conversion, Simeon kind of threw it was like a wheel route to Mark Ingram, and it just kind of, just couldn't connect, man. But I still think that this Saints team, they're still currently in the playoff picture, so they still have a chance to make the playoffs. They just need to kind of rely a lot on Alvin Kamara, and they need to, get the ball in playmakers' hands. And I'm sure Sean Payton's going to work up, some way to maximize the potential out of his offense. Number 20, moving up 2 spots, is the Chicago Bears. Mainly from Justin Fields' play, man. I've been impressed. He's still got a long way to go. But Justin Fields has really re-energized this offense, and they really have looked very good in the most recent weeks. And getting David Montgomery back is huge. Will increase that run game, and I think increase kind of, it'll take defense's minds off Justin Fields because David Montgomery's coming back, and he had a really good season before he got hurt. So, I think Chicago, they're kind of on the right track. This defense is going to get Khalil Mack back soon. They could make a run at a playoff spot for sure. I still would like to see Allen Robinson more involved in this offense because he is a dynamic playmaker, and I really feel bad for him that he's just been completely forgotten about in this offense with Matt Nagy. But we'll see kind of how it goes. But Fields has been playing really well these last couple weeks. Number 19. Las Vegas Raiders moving down 4 spots. Truly, I kind of feel bad for Derek Carr. And the whole situation with the Raiders has just been so just screwed up this season. Starting with John Gruden, and then Henry Ruggs going 156 miles an hour hitting somebody, and then Damon Arnett, the video with him. This just stupidity, man. But Ruggs, from a football perspective, really losing him is tough because that deep threat's gone, and then they have Deshaun Jackson to replace that, and he fumbles, against the Chiefs. They've been missing Their run game really hasn't been the same. Like, Josh Jacobs doesn't look the same this season. And really, like, Waller the last couple weeks has just disappeared. He really hasn't been his old self. They haven't been getting him the ball. Renfro's really been the only consistent guy on their offense besides Derek Carr. And that defense has been awful. Jonathan Abram was targeted 9 times and allowed like 9 catches for 172 yards and 2 touchdowns. Like, why are you having a box safety play coverage? It just boggles my mind, man. Especially with Gus Bradley, who's really very good at using his personnel in the right ways on defense. Just dumbness, man. Moving on to number 18 is the San Francisco 49ers. We're going down 5 spots. Now, this is more so from like their past weeks, like from Indianapolis loss to the Cardinals loss last week, which was bad. But this was a huge win for them. Huge win. Jimmy G's playing really well. Got to give him credit. The mix of running backs is working. Deebo Samuel is absolutely breaking out. He's having an insane season. The defense kind of got back on track today. Jimmy Ward made some really big plays against the Rams offense. Nick Bosa was disruptive. Arik Armstead was disruptive. Fred Warner was all over the field. It was kind of like that Niners team we thought that was going to come into the season that had a real shot of winning that NFC West. So they look really good back in, and they look like they're back in business, man. So they do have a big game. I think they're playing the Seahawks this week. So that's a big game for both those teams. Speaking of Seattle, they're going to be number 17 on our list. Russell Wilson coming back has a big thing to do with that as they climb up 8 spots. But they looked bad on Sunday. I mean, Russ, I'm sure he's doing a bunch of rehab to kind of get his finger right, to make sure that he's, at his best to play on Sunday. But it looked like he just was not in the film room at all this week. He really just did not look good at all, man. They did not look good. They did not look in sync. DK Metcalf gets ejected at the end of the game. Tyler Lockett is not involved at all. The defense did step up, though. They did play pretty good. I mean, they held Aaron Rodgers and the Packers to 3 points for like 2.5, 3 quarters. So they looked pretty good. I think Russ has just got to get back in the film room and back for another full week of practice. Staying at 16 is the Minnesota Vikings, just one of the most up and down teams you will see. They always have to seem to be in a close game, but they did take care of business this week. Dalvin Cook looked really good. Justin Jefferson was unguardable on Sunday. Kirk Cousins was, throwing some dimes out there. I feel like Kirk this season kind of has his ups and downs, but when he's not in prime time, Kirk Cousins is a very good quarterback. And shout out to this defense, man. They confused Herbert. Herbert had some bad throws in this game. So Minnesota looking really good. And then falling 4 spots at number 15 is the Cleveland Browns. Listen, Browns fans, you could have used Odell Beckham Jr. on Sunday. You really could have, because you guys got locked up, man coverage on Sunday. Nobody could get open. And it's not all on Baker. It really isn't. I think playing with, obviously the right tackle was gone. He was pressured a lot in this game. The offensive line wasn't very good. They could run the football, though. Dearness Johnson still had a really good game. So I don't think that was a problem. It was really, they just couldn't do anything on offense. I mean, the coverage from New England was really good, and Baker was confused. But there's no excuse for this defense, man. They have looked bad the last couple of weeks, bro. With the talent they have, Myles Garrett had 1 sack. They pressured Mac Jones 3 times, bro, and they have the best pass rush in football. That's unacceptable, man. I mean, especially the talent on that D-line, that's bad. And their corners got absolutely roasted on Sunday. Greg Newsome looked like a 6th-round pick. Denzel Ward actually played pretty good, but Greg Newsome was torched. Troy Hill was torched. This defense has got to get back on, the same page, for sure. Number 14, climbing up 5 spots, is the Indianapolis Colts. They've really impressed me the last couple of weeks. On the back of Jonathan Taylor, who has really kind of run away with the rushing yard leader list. I think he's still tied with Derrick Henry, though, with 937. But they've looked really good. Wentz has looked really good the last couple of weeks. He has thrown some just WTF balls. But, genuinely he's looked better. Michael Pittman Jr. looking like an absolute freak out there. Zach Pascal looks really good. I've always really liked him. And this defense has looked really good too. I mean, they have really gotten this defense together. Kwity Paye is coming along really nicely. Julian Blackman's hurt, so who am I thinking of in the defense? Kenny Moore's kind of, come back to kind of 2020 Kenny Moore, looking really good. So DeForest Buckner continues to be an absolute monster in the middle. So the Indianapolis Colts are surging for that playoff spot. Number 13, moving up one spot, is the Cincinnati Bengals. They had a huge win against Baltimore and then just kind of, tailed off with bad losses to the Jets and the Browns, and they're on a bye this week. I think that this team, they just need to, play a little bit more consistent. Joe Burrow needs to play a little bit more consistent. The defense needs to play a little bit more consistent. If this team plays at their peak, they're tough to beat. They really are tough to beat. But when they don't, they can, when they make mistakes, then they start to get steamrolled. It's kind of like what happened against Cleveland. So I think if you bring back some consistency to this team, Cincinnati is going to be tough to beat for sure. Number 12, rising up 6 spots, is the Pittsburgh Steelers. I think Sunday really showed how important Big Ben is to this team, because Big Ben's not his old gunslinging self, but he really does make a difference for this team because Mason Rudolph is terrible. But this defense is really good too. Even with TJ Watt out for part of the game, Alex Highsmith is a baller, man. He looks really, really good. This coverage looks good. Cameron Sutton and James Pierre have really kind of broken out with the Joe Hayden injury. Pittsburgh, they got some players in that defense, although hopefully Big Ben can play this week, and I think Minkah Fitzpatrick has hit the COVID list as well, so that's a big blow for them. But Pittsburgh has looked really good these last couple weeks, kind of found an identity on offense, get the ball out quick, get it to Deontay Johnson, get it to James Washington, and ride the back of Najee Harris as well, who has looked really good, by the way, for Pittsburgh. Number 11, moving down 2 spots, is the Los Angeles Chargers. I really bought into this team after they beat Cleveland, and they kind of let me down ever since, man. Justin Herbert has been kind of wishy-washy the last couple weeks. Had a really bad game against New England, and then kind of bounced back, and then didn't have a great game this week against Minnesota. I think he really, they just need to kind of, reset, I think. And they need to kind of get the ball. I think they need to get the ball to Austin Eckler more, run the football a little bit more, kind of, rebalance that offense, because I think they're trying to lean too much on Herbert right now, and he feels pressured into making plays for them. But Keenan Allen did have a really good week this week, kind of looked like the old Keenan Allen. And I think Mike Williams has been a little bit banged up. He really hasn't done much the last couple of weeks. I think a week of rest really for him would be beneficial. And then this defense, just, I don't know what's happened to this defense, man. They have not looked like they did at the beginning of the season. I think Brandon Staley will figure it out, though. Joey Bosa has still been really good, but they really need to, improve that run defense, I think. Then at number 10, moving up 9 spots, is the New England Patriots. They have been on a surge the last couple weeks. They're big time, man. Mac Jones is big time, making some big time throws. That throw to Kendrick Bourne was great. That throw to Jacoby Myers on the side was great, and that throw to Hunter Henry. Those were 3 huge throws he made. Ramondre Stevenson stealing the 4th round. That's what we do, man. We steal running backs late in the draft, just like Damian Harris in the 3rd round. We stole Ramondre Stevenson in the 4th round. He looked better than most of the guys I've seen this season out there. He was really, really good on Sunday. Shout out to kind of, the free agents that have come on offense. Kendrick Bourne has looked really nice these last couple of weeks, been a absolute weapon for them. Hunter Henry is just a touchdown machine, red zone machine. Hopefully Jonnu Smith can come back. Would like to see Michael Onwenu start, though, over Ted Karras. It's kind of a good problem to have where you have 6 good offensive linemen, but I just think Onwenu's too good to just sit the bench for Ted Karras. Then defensively, Baker Mayfield had no idea where to go to the ball. I mean, Bill Belichick makes average quarterbacks look terrible. And I'm not saying Baker's average. He's above average, but, if you're not elite, if you're not, top 5 to 7 in the league, he's going to make you look stupid. And he make Baker Mayfield look stupid on Sunday. Kyle Duggar's an insane man. He had a great pick, great break on the ball, brought it to the 5 where we scored a touchdown. J.C. Jackson continues to be locked down. I think Baker Mayfield targeted him 6 times, 0 for 6, 2 pass breakups. Jalen Mills continues to improve. Run defense was really good this week. I thought, with Lawrence Guy and Barmore really stepping up. Barmore has been an absolute maniac the last couple of weeks. Matt Judon continues to be the best free agent signing of the season. He's just been incredible, man. Really, really good signing there from Matt Judon. And this team just clicking, man. They're really clicking, and Damian Harris is going to come back hopefully this week against Atlanta from concussion. He was back at practice today along with Gunnar Olszewski, who I greatly appreciate as our returner. From watching the returners in this game, it's just awful. Now moving on to number 9, moving down 3 spots to the Baltimore Ravens. Really, really bad loss against Miami. It was cover 0 the whole game, and they didn't adjust. I was like, why are you not throwing quick slants or even like a screen or a bubble screen or something? It was really bad, and Lamar wasn't great. It just seems like nobody wants to win MVP because whenever one of the really good quarterbacks is playing really well, they just have a bad game, and Lamar had a bad game. I think they'll reset, regroup, and play really well this week, after the bad loss. And that defense played pretty well. All things considered, they did hold Miami except for that one busted play for Albert Wilson, and another one with Isaiah Ford at the end of the half. So just some stuff they got to clean up on defense. Number 8, moving down a spot, is Kansas City. Why they're moving down a spot after a huge win against Vegas? It's kind of what's happened the last couple weeks. The bad game against the Giants, the bad game against the Packers until that last play on offense of the game. And then this week they kind of put it all together and really looked like the old Chiefs. And I think in a couple weeks they'll be back up into the top 5, honestly. I think they were hit hard by the injury bug with Edwards-Helaire, and they didn't really have a run game, and they continue to just neglect the running game. I don't know why. But they really kind of found their stride this week. They hit their stride. Their defense played really well. Daniel Sorensen made a play, which was crazy because he's terrible. But, they got after Derek Carr, and they really made it tough for the Raiders, who have been a really good offense. So that was a good, motivation for their defense. Tyrann Mathieu had a great game as well. Number 7, moving up 3 spots, is the Tennessee Titans. I don't know how they've been doing it the last 2 weeks, but they have, won without Derrick Henry, and it's been impressive. Ryan Tannehill has been really, really good. AP stepped in there nicely. Deontay Foreman, somehow still in the league, playing good football for them. Jeremy McNichols, playing good football for them. So, that's big. It's big for the Titans that they're getting, guys to step up, and their defense has stepped up. Their defense has been a weak point for them, but they have stepped up. Jeffrey Simmons and Harold Landry are leading the way for that defense, and you can't count out Kevin Byard, man. He's been really, really good the last 2 weeks as well, really stepping up for that team and really making a difference for the Tennessee Titans. Number 6, moving down 2 spots, is the Buffalo Bills. I just think other teams are playing better than them at this point. They did rout the Jets this week, but they had a terrible loss last week against the Jacksonville Jaguars. So I think, they kind of refound themselves this week on offense. I think they really, they got guys involved. Matt Breida, great to see him getting involved because I really do like him. Great to see him getting involved. Stephon Diggs, I think, the connection with him and Josh Allen has kind of been off this season. They kind of refound that on Sunday. That looked really good as well. And they just kind of looked more fluid on offense, and their defense continues to be dominant. It's one of the best in the NFL. And they had 4 players get picks on Sunday, which was really, really impressive. And they have like 9 different players this year with interception. So they got some ballers on that defense, man. They really do. And number 5, moving down 2 spots, is the Los Angeles Rams. 2 bad performances in a row. Matthew Stafford has not looked good. I think they need to reincorporate Darrell Henderson, Sony Michel into the game plan more. I think it would just take the pressure off Stafford, take the pressure, off these receivers. They did sign Odell Beckham Jr., who I think is going to slide into that Robert Woods role. But losing Robert Woods was huge, man, because he's that route runner. He's kind of, just that change of pace receiver from Cooper Kupp. And now, you're going to ask OBJ to do that, who's kind of more of that like vertical threat, big play threat guy, kind of like Van Jefferson. But I'm excited for the Van Jefferson breakout season for sure. I think he's going to have an even bigger role in this offense. Now that Robert Woods is hurt, and then OBJ is going to be kind of, implemented in the offense, but kind of, I think it's going to be more next week, but it's kind of, it's not going to be like, okay, we're just going to throw OBJ like 15 targets next week. It's going to be like a slow incremental process. Number 4 is going to be the Tampa Bay Buccaneers falling 3 spots. Let's face it, they had a bad game. They had a really bad game yesterday. Tom Brady did not look good. This defense is just getting picked apart. Bruce Arians called them out. They really need their corners back. They need Sherman back. They need, I think, Jamel Dean's back. They need Murphy Bunting back. They need Carlton Davis back. They need those guys back, man, to be a legitimate, to be a legitimate defense again, man, because that's kind of their weak spot. And they need JPP and Shaq Barrett to really step up and, play really good football. Because they've been kind of quiet the last couple weeks for sure. Same with Vita Vea, same with that D line. They got to step up, man. They got to help out that secondary for sure. And then at number 3, we have the Dallas Cowboys, who move up 5 spots. They have really, really impressed me. Huge win against Atlanta. I feel like it was a fluke game against Denver. They just didn't seem ready to play. But this offense, man, is just so dynamic, bro. Zeke, Tony Pollard are one heck of a duo in the run game. And this offensive line is just one of the best in football. Maybe the best run blocking O-line in the league. That's debatable, though. But they just have looked really, really solid, man. Dak looks really good. I'm not, I'm a critic of Dak, but he has looked really good. He played his worst game of his career last week and really came back and just dotted up Atlanta's defense. With Michael Gallup back, that offense becomes even more potent already. They already had Cedric Wilson, CeeDee Lamb, who just went off on Sunday, man. And Amari Cooper, but bringing Michael Gallup back adds another weapon in there along with Dalton Schultz. And this defense, man, I've been critical of this defense because I just don't think it's like elite, but that defense really did play really well on Sunday. Keanu Neal was all over the field along with Micah Parsons. They got after Matt Ryan. It sucks that Randy Gregory got hurt, but they did get after Matt Ryan. And Trayvon Diggs coming up with another pick. He's not an elite corner, but he certainly is, Xavier Howard. He's not as good as Xavier Howard. He's kind of like a Walmart Xavier Howard, where he's going to make plays, but he's going to give up big plays as well. But this defense has really, kind of found their identity. So shout out to Dan Quinn for that. Number 2, staying put, is the Arizona Cardinals. This week, no Kyler, no D-Hop, just a bad week, man. Bad week for them. But James Conner has really found a place here in this offense. I really like the way they're utilizing him, and he's going to continue to just be really good with Chase Edmonds out. Christian Kirk's been, really good. They found a role for A.J. Green and Rondale Moore. I think once Kyler and D-Hop get back, I think Arizona will be back to peak form for sure. And then the number 1 team in football, we got a new number 1, moving up 4 spots, is the Green Bay Packers. Y'all can hate this if you want, but Green Bay has an elite defense. They showed it on Sunday. They have an elite defense. This is without their 2 best players in Zadarius Smith and Jair Alexander. They might be without Rashawn Gary. That was an elite defensive performance by Green Bay. No doubt about it. They have been really, really good on defense. And their offense struggled, but Aaron Rodgers in practice all week, just came back. They're going to be fine. And it's A.J. Dillon season with Aaron Jones out for a week or 2. So A.J. Dillon going to be really good for them for sure. He was really good on Sunday as well. Randall Cobb's been big for that offense, I think, in my opinion. He's just kind of opened it up a little bit more. MBS coming back is big for them as well. So look for this Packers team to push for that number 1 seed in the NFC for sure. That's all I have for you guys today. I think tomorrow I'm going to do another podcast, going to do kind of a mid-season awards edition, and then my prediction for who's going to win the award maybe at the end of the season. It's good to get back. I needed a little bit of a break, just was kind of dealing with some stuff, but we're back to making content, hopefully more, because it's really something I want to do. And then maybe come like the new year, I'm going to try some different things, to kind of just, make the content a little bit different. But thanks for watching, everybody. Hope you liked the video. Stay tuned for tomorrow for kind of a mid-season awards, and then prediction for who I think is going to win. So have a great day, everybody, and peace.